Welcome to the Brotherly Advice Podcast, a safe space where we have honest conversations, share relatable stories, and give you practical advice and wisdom to help you navigate your real world. My name is Kwabena Efriye Akotobanfo, and I'm glad to be your host. I'm excited about my guest today because he's a friend of mine, a good friend of mine at that. I've been privileged to share a classroom with him, and at one point in time, he was my personal teaching assistant. I'm happy to have him here today so that one day or soon when he's in the limelight, I can brag and say that yes, he was on the Brotherly Advice podcast first. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome my first guest for the Brotherly Advice podcast, Mr. Ebenezer Kwapong. Ebenezer,
Hello.
thank you for being on the Brotherly Advice
My
podcast.
pleasure,
I
my
really
pleasure.
appreciate you being the first guest on this great show.
I feel honored. I feel special.
Thank you for coming. Thank you
Yes,
for really
yeah.
coming. I'm excited to have you here, like I said, and I think today's topic is about Christian faith, right? And I couldn't think of anyone better to have the discussion with. Before we get into the conversation, I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself, about your background, who you are, who is Ebenezer Kwapong. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much, Solomon, for the opportunity, for being the first guest.
Exactly.
That's a great honor, and I do not take it for granted at all. I've been blessed by all the different episodes you've been sharing, and
Right.
I know that this one will be a blessing as well.
Right.
Like you mentioned, my name is Ebenezer Kwapong, born and bred in Ghana. I'm from a Kropong that's in the mountains in Ghana. That's where I actually grew up. A large part of my life was spent there
Right.
because my dad was there. He was posted there as a reverend minister. My mom is a university professor, so I was born into that mixture.
Right.
That combination of the pastoral and the teaching was always there with me. And I think that has really formed a large part of my life because I've grown up to model the sort of lives my parents lived. They lived lives of, or they live, they live lives of, caring for people, focusing on people, serving others, dedicating their lives, sacrificing just so that other people can receive knowledge, can receive something that can also help them to grow. And so that has formed my background and my childhood. I remember, many times being a young boy, they'll call you for family devotions, they'll call you for quiet times, and I think that has been the most impactful part of my life because every time I face a stumbling block, I always go back to those moments. I go back to the scriptures they shared, and that has really helped me so far.
That is really good. So I guess it's safe to say that you are a Christian,
Yes,
right? And by virtue of the fact that your dad was a reverend minister, your mom was also a university professor, you were kind of put into that box where you are. I mean, both comes with its own pressures. You are the son of a reverend minister, and then the son of a university professor. You can't afford to do certain things. You can't afford to live in a certain way. So let's get into without getting into today's conversation. I want to know from your perspective, what does faith mean to you? What does your Christian faith mean to you?
That's a very, very good question. And when you were given the description of sort of who my father was, who my mother was, or who they are, and how that sort of guided everything I did, it brought to mind a story. I remember when they had transferred my dad to Tema, and the congregation was called Trinity Congregation in Community 4. There was a part there where I remember feeling so much pressure because that was when I was now sort of starting out in my own faith, right? Of course, I've grown up in the Christian home. I've always known God. Like, you can't argue with me against God. But I don't think it had become a personalized faith where I'd now taken it on my shoulders and said that, you know what, I'm serving God for myself. I'm knowing God for myself. So it was in that moment that I was beginning to encounter and experience that. And I remember just feeling this pressure where it was almost as if because I lived in the mission house, which was within the church, I felt that I was doing things because of how people see me or how I wanted them to see me. I didn't feel too free in my faith where I could actually grow to learn things for myself. I felt like I had to put on a certain self, a certain nature so that people can model that. And so I remember telling my parents about it and, telling them about my desire to the good thing about having parents who are, one is a minister and one is a professor, is that my mom had a bungalow on campus, University of Ghana campus, and my dad had a mission house, and so we're always moving back and forth.
Right.
And so when we had that brief period of when I had that brief time, I was like, you know what, I want to go to the Legon campus and actually have time to figure things out on my own and just learn some things. And so I was able to take that time out. I went there, attended a different church. I'm a Presbyterian, but it wasn't a Presbyterian church.
Right.
And it was one of the most beautiful moments of my life because I was able to now make my faith my own. I was able to now say that, okay, now I know the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm growing to model his life. I'm not doing this because of other people. I'm doing this because I know that this is true. Yeah. And that has been my journey ever since then. And so faith forms a core part of my life. I've spent time to study the word. I've spent time in prayer. I've spent time in worship. And I've come to the understanding that everything that I must do must flow from what he has said. Everything that I must say must flow from what he has said. Yeah. And so I may fall sometimes, but ultimately I go back to the drawing board. I go back to that foundation, which is his word. And I try to ensure that my life is going according to the instructions of the word. That is what faith is to me.
Wow, and I think whilst you're talking, I think I have something interesting. I picked up on a few interesting things. Mm-hmm. You said you were born into that Christian household by default, right? But along the line, you wanted to experience God for yourself.
Yes, sir.
Because automatically, if your dad is a reverend minister and your mom is also a Christian professor, obviously you have to fall in line with the teachings they give you or how they train you. Yeah. But that doesn't automatically, let me put it that way, that doesn't automatically make you a Christian. Yeah. At a point in your life or at a point in your matured life or age, you would have to make a decision that now I want to be a Christian. Yeah. I want to experience God. And it reminds me of myself too, in a way, because I think when I turned 30, that was when I was baptized actually. And I think I remember the only prayer I prayed whilst I was being baptized is that my mom talks about God, talks about the testimonies God has done. My dad talks about it. Sometimes when we go, my mom used to take us for women's aglo. So we go and then you hear testimonies upon testimonies.
That's right.
And sometimes, so I sit back and I'm like, are these things things that they are telling, are they real? Because if God really exists and he's doing all these miracles for people, why am I not experiencing that? Right? I used to ask myself those questions. So when I was being baptized, the only prayer I prayed was, God, if you really exist, like how everybody says you, then manifest yourself in my life. Let me also know you personally. And that was when I can say that I became a Christian, because at the time I had made it a point to have a personal communion with God. And it's been just 3 years, and I can tell you, look, I can start to talk about testimonies upon testimonies upon testimonies, and it's been crazy. Let me put it that way. So I think what I can pick from what you just said is the fact that, yes, you may be born into a household that teaches you the fundamentals of the faith that you are supposed to live. But at some point in your life, you need to sit up and take the steering wheel alone and then drive it the way, or drive it towards how God wants you to be.
That's it.
And that is how you build your faith.
That's it.
Right?
That's
now, there's this question that I usually get all the time, especially on my TikTok platform. People come in and they ask me, how do you figure out your purpose? What is your purpose? What is my purpose? Right? And I have tried so much to, respond to some of them, but I want you to also shed light on that. What would you say, or how would you explain purpose as a Christian from the Christian standpoint?
That's a very, very good question. I think it's a question that a lot of people wrestle with, because people don't want to waste their time. Exactly. People want to find themselves doing what they believe they've been born to do. Right? And so purpose, I think I would go back to Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, the popular verse. Right. I know the plans that I have for you, plans to give you hope in the future, to prosperity, to give you all of that. I'm paraphrasing and putting it together. But that's the almighty Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. And so purpose begins with God. Purpose begins with who God has called you to be. And many times people struggle with discovering exactly what that is. And for me, the way that I try to conceptualize it is, first of all, I think it was my former boss, who's my mentor, TK Azaglo, owns Future of Africa, runs it very, very wonderfully. He was on a podcast and he shared that he believes that purpose is about partnering with God to fulfill what if he was here, he would do, ultimately for his end goal. And so, in discovering it, I think that it goes in different ways. For some people, they're able to discover it supernaturally, right? People may have a dream, they may have a vision, they may meet someone that tells them that I see this, and that about you, and that sets them off and they go their path. For other people, it may not come that way. I believe that for some people, it begins with a strong desire. Like you find yourself drawn to something. People grow up and they find themselves drawn to wires and electronics, and they're just putting things together, fixing things, and they find their purpose within that field. People grow up and they just have a strong desire to always speak when they're around people, to take initiative, to lead something. They find their purpose through that. And so desire forms a large part of discovering what your purpose is. Some people are also, I would say, quite fortunate because they're also born with a gift and a talent, and that leads them into their purpose. People can sing very well, they can dance very well, they can play something very well. Once you discover that, that can ultimately point you to your purpose. For other people too, I think this may not be too spiritual, but people can also just recognize something about you and tell you about it. It might be there all along, but you don't know. Someone will come to you and say that, you know what, I think you speak very, very well. You should consider this. Or you handle children very marvelously. I think you should consider this. People are able to recognize things about you, and when they say it to you, that's able to trigger you into your purpose. And so ultimately, I'll say those are different things you must look out for. But in concluding about it, you must have that personal conviction. You must spend time to reflect upon it, think about it, think deeply about it, and be sure that you know what, this thing that I'm doing, is this something that I'm doing to satisfy myself, to bring wealth and riches to myself? Or am I doing it for something bigger than myself? Is it something that I believe has a greater impact beyond myself? When you're able to make those reflections and make those connecting points, ultimately I think you find yourself on the right path towards the purpose God has called you to.
So in essence, we can say that your purpose should usually be bigger than you.
Yeah.
More like for the sake of humanity.
Yeah.
And not just yourself.
Yeah, I firmly believe that.
Right. And what about timeline? Is there a timeline? Is there a specific timeline we can say within, let's say, in your 20s, you should be able to find your purpose, or it varies? What do you think about that?
I think it varies person by person. There are people who at a very young age are able to achieve very great things. But there are also people who do it later on in life. You take the Lord Jesus, for example. He started his ministry at the age of 30. And this was someone who was very clear about what he had to do at every point in time. When he came, he read his own manifesto. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and he has anointed me to do this, this, and that. So he knew who he was. He knew what he wanted to do, but he did it at a specific point in time. The prophet Moses started his ministry at the age of 40. So people have different timelines. And so I think it's ultimately about you discovering it and knowing when to go. Sometimes people may delay, and God himself will now intervene, and you just find yourself frustrated in a place. People can find themselves working somewhere for a very long time, then they reach a point, they're just frustrated. They feel like this work is not for me. And that frustration is sort of that leading for you to now start something on your own and do what God has called you to do. And so I'll say that people shouldn't put too much pressure on themselves, because sometimes when you feel like you are delaying, that's when God is also preparing you. Because that wilderness period, it takes a bit of time. That training period takes a bit of time. And so allow yourself to go through the process, allow yourself to experience things, and ultimately the God who has called you will lead you to the place that he has prepared for you.
That is very good. I think it's self-explanatory, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, Eben, I want you to share with me, right? This is interesting. I want you to share with me your, I call it, this can only be God moment. Like a moment in your life where you feel like when you sat back, took audit, you're like, no, this can't be luck, this can't be anything else but God. I'd like you to share with me.
That's a very, very good question.
You probably might have a lot, but then I want you to share with me.
I should pick
one
one.
that stands out for you.
Yeah. So anytime I'm asked this question, or anytime I think about this question, and because I'm in a graduate school setting, my mind goes to one period in time. I remember very strongly. I was on campus, University of Ghana, Legon, and whilst there in my first or second year, one of them I don't really remember. I was part of this theater and dance group. I don't dance too well, but my siblings were there and they looked like they were enjoying themselves, so I joined them.
Right.
So we had a retreat. And we invited one of our leaders who God has also raised quite well to come and lead us in the retreat. And so when he came, he was ministering to people individually. Then he began speaking to my sister. And he told her that he sees her in the US, began to speak about different things. But as he was speaking, he told her that he sees 4 stones. And within the 4 stones, one has already left and is outside. And so he asked her about her siblings. She told him that, I have an older brother and a younger brother. So then the first one that had left was referring to my older brother, who was already in America at that time.
Right.
And so he told her that, okay, very soon he sees her also going. But he doesn't understand why there are 4 stones, since we are 3 siblings. And then he looked to my cousin and he said, do you stay in the house with them? She said yes. And he said, okay, that makes sense. So he said that he sees the 3rd stone also going. And last year, my sister joined her husband my cousin, joined her husband in the UK. My sister came to America to study for a master's about 2 years ago. And he says that eventually the 4th one will join them. This is me in like first, second year. I'm now doing campus life. And he's already speaking about things to come. But fast forward, God being so good, last year I was able to come here to Brandeis to study for my master's. And so I look at that, I look at the connections, I look at the things that have come within it, and I see how everything has fallen in place exactly as he spoke about. I'm like, this can only be God, because there were many challenges that came with coming to America to study. Even before I came for my master's, I had applied to about 20 schools, for undergrad, and I didn't get any. And so dealing with that, 20, solo 20, 20 wasn't easy.
That must be very heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking, especially considering that I felt my profile was very good.
Right.
I had a good SAT score.
I mean, you've been my teaching assistant. I can tell how intelligent. So I'm wondering how possible.
Yeah, that's a good question.
1 out of 20.
That's a good question. And so maneuvering all of that and finally being here, I attribute it wholeheartedly to God.
I mean, that is really beautiful to hear, because it's more like you just enter the university in your first year. You have 4 years to go. I mean, 3 more years to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And someone tells you that, see, in the next 4 years, in the next 5 years, this is how things are going to play out. And exactly it plays out vividly. I mean, at the end of the day, if you sit back and you say this is just sheer luck, and you are just someone else, I'm happy for you, and I'm happy that prophecy came to pass, and now we have this connection. Had it not come to pass, who will be teaching me economics in first year? It's amazing.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I can say at this point in my life, there is nobody who can convince me that there is no God.
That's it.
I mean, I personally have felt and have seen how he's dealt with things when it comes to me.
Yeah.
One thing that my mom used to say, she's like, she calls me Kobe. Like, Kobe, bompire nyamiti. I mean, bompire nyamiti.
Yeah.
I also bompire more, literally saying, whenever I pray to God, God listens and He answers me quickly. So I should be praying to God more. And I kind of feel like it is true, because there are several occasions where I felt like I was close to the wall. I was so close to the wall, and then I'm like, God, at this point in my life, I tried everything, and I need you to come in. And one thing I always tell my friends or anyone I speak to about prayer is, we don't have to complicate things. I feel like God is just like how we will go to our Father to make a request. Yes, in all politeness, but then God already, it's more like sometimes He already knows what you need. Just come and tell me. Let me just know that now you are ready for me to help you.
That's it.
So it's as simple as that. Just speak to God. Tell God that, God, at this point, look, I have tried. My human strength couldn't help. Now I need you to step in. And then just watch how things play out in your life.
That's it.
So I'm happy to hear your story, and I am really impressed about that.
Yeah, those help me prayers, and so look, those help me prayers are prayer. They are so powerful.
I'm telling you.
When you come to the end of yourself, I was in a prayer meeting and I was sharing that there was a time last semester I
Right.
was doing my final GIS project, and we had already done one previously. So I was like, oh, this thing that I can kill it and do it quickly. And it was a group, and one of our group members was an accelerated, or was on an accelerated track, so
Right.
he needed to graduate earlier than us, and so there was pressure. And I was working on the project. I was working on the project, and it wasn't coming together. I was
Right.
like, I know this thing. I've watched the videos. Like, the people trust me to do it. I did it. I did it. I did it. It wasn't working. And so the day, in fact, it was hours after we were supposed to submit. And so the professor actually emailed me and I told him that, oh, by the end of today, I'll get it to you.
Right.
And the hours were just passing. I couldn't get it. It was just passing. So I just sat there. I was like, you know what? God, help me. Just help me. I've tried everything. Just help me. And in like minutes, he just gave me an idea that, you know what? You're looking for the data in a small sort of setting, and so that's limiting what you can do.
Right.
Get a larger data set and tweak what you're looking for. I did that, and in minutes, everything sorted out the way I wanted it to. Then I just put it together and submitted it. And interesting enough, later on, when the results came, our group got an A. And there was a group that they were also very good, and they had done theirs earlier, completed it earlier, and you trust them to get the good
Right.
results. And later, a friend was telling me that, oh, we submitted it and we didn't get it. And he was like, what? How? And so I look at that and I'm just grateful to God. And there are many, many testimonies like that where you've come to the end of yourself and you just pray a simple prayer that, God help me,
Yeah.
I've tried. And He does it.
He does it. I mean, he never fails because
Yeah.
all you need to do is to call on to God, and He hears. It's even in the Bible.
Mhm.
I was listening to. It was just a short clip
Mhm.
from the pastor Ben Senindahosa.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
And he was like, one of the best prayers you can ever pray is God,
God
help me.
yeah.
God help me. That's just 2 words.
Yeah.
But then it answers everything.
That's it.
Because God already knows your problems.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't want us to get so much into this but I want us to for anyone who is watching us now,
Yeah.
right? I know we have lovely people watching us right
Mhm.
now. And for any young man or young woman out there who feels tired, who feels burdened, who feels stuck in life, right? I mean, this is the Brotherly Advice podcast.
Yeah.
We give practical advice and wisdom
Yeah.
to help people. What would be your best piece of brotherly advice for anyone who is currently going through such a phase in life?
That's a good question, and I have another story.
Right.
I have so many stories.
Feel free.
But I remember in my first year of university,
Right.
when I faced all those rejections and I got to the University of Ghana, I was like, you know what, I'm going to kill it. I want 4.0 GPA. Then in my first year, I took a math course thinking that, oh, I'll kill it because I had done good math in my high school. And the results came and I didn't do well. It was really bad. It was like an E. There's E, then there's F.
What is happening? I find it hard to believe.
So if I'm telling you, I didn't do well.
Right.
I did terribly. And so I remember just, thinking about it and just being so pained about it. And I remember there was just a word I felt God gave me, which was that if you think that you need this grade to get to where I want you to get to, then the grade has become your God, not me. I was like,
Right.
The thing has hit me.
Right.
Then about a couple of days later, my mom called me to her room. She was like, she had a dream. And in her dream, she saw that I had become like miserable, sort of. And she didn't like the way I looked. And so she wants to use it to share an advice with me. Maybe I'm bothered about something. Then she shared how when she was in the University of Cape Coast, Cape Vaz, there was an exam that she had taken. And when she took that exam, she studied well, did it well, but she didn't realize that there were questions on the back of the paper. And so she completely missed that, and that killed her grade. But fast forward, I should look at her life now. She's a university professor. And so I shouldn't allow little mistakes like that to bother me. I shouldn't dwell on them. That ultimately God will work things together and I'll get to where I need to get to. And so that's a word that has held me this far, and that's a word I would share with anyone that finds themselves in a position where they feel like they've delayed. They feel like things are not going the way they want it to. What I would say is that they shouldn't allow the circumstances to dictate how they operate in this life.
Right.
It's an experience. It will pass. In a couple of years, you wouldn't even remember how much pain you were in that moment. Allow yourself to heal. Cry for a bit, but allow yourself to go through it. Learn other things. Talk to other people. Experience other things. Pray, pray, and pray again.
Right.
Once you allow yourself to go through that moment, you'd find yourself rebuilding gradually, gradually, and before you realize everything that you've prayed for, everything that you've looked for it to get in, will come to pass in your life. So don't be bothered. Just push on. It will work out.
Family, we are building something special here, and I'd love you to be part of this by supporting this movement. If you find this conversation valuable, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any interviews. It takes just 2 seconds, but it helps us bring more amazing guests to your screens. Thank you for supporting the Brotherly Advice podcast. Now, back to the conversation. That's a beautiful piece of advice. I mean, it's something that I usually say too about the fact that today's experiences becomes tomorrow's memories. Right.
That's
so
it.
everything, I mean, life is a journey.
Yeah.
And at every point there is a present.
Yeah.
Today is the present.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a long way to go. Ideally, we think, or we say we have a long way to go, right? So why would I allow today's misfortunes or setbacks to dictate my tomorrow, right? So usually, oftentimes we just hit the wall, or we we have a setback and we feel like that is all. But sometimes God works in mysterious ways where He uses that same setbacks to set you up for greatness.
That's it.
Right? So
that's it.
Sometimes, like I tell people, especially those who come to me, I'm like, yeah, we all go through stuff.
Oh yeah.
And life is sad that you figure things out along the way.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
Nobody has it figured out. You might think the richest people have it figured out, but they are still learning. And that is the beauty of life.
Yeah.
So until you are able to learn, because in life you have to be a student of life.
Yeah.
You have to learn along the way.
Yeah.
Right? And let life teach you. And like you said, pray, pray, and pray again. I love that piece of advice.
Yeah.
I love that piece of advice. Now it brings me to this question, right? As a Christian, usually we say, hey, I'm a Christian, and I'm going through this. I'm going through all this. I'm a Christian. I serve God. I pay my tithe. I do this. I do that. We brag about it. I go to church every Sunday. So why am I going through this problem? Do you think, as a Christian, you need to go through failures and setbacks and all these like disappointments and all the heartbreaks, all of that? Do you think a Christian should go through all of that?
That's a good question, and always a difficult question for people to grasp.
Right.
Because when you get into the faith life, you're always about 3 John verse 2. My desire for you is that you may prosper and live in good health.
Right.
And so for you, you want everything to go well for you. That's good. God wants good things for you. God wants to bring prosperity and health and all of that into your life. But at the same time, He's a God who's also intentional about preparing His people. The book of James makes us understand that God is not the one who would bring temptation into your life, but He is the one who allows it sometimes.
Right.
That's a controversial statement.
Right.
But there are moments where God would allow tests to happen in your life. He would allow challenges to go on in your life, because these are things that He uses to prepare His children. These are things that He uses to teach you certain lessons that you can also use to pass on to other people. The ultimate story is told about the Israelites when God called them to the promised land. Bible makes us understand that there was a shorter journey from Egypt to the promised land they were going to. But He allowed them to take a longer route so that in case they go in a shorter time, they wouldn't be overwhelmed by the opposition they faced.
Right.
But if they go that long route, they will be prepared, they'll be fortified, they'll be strengthened, so that no matter what comes their way, they'll be able to overcome it. And so we must understand as children of God that God is always 10 steps ahead of us. Challenges that may come are not meant to break us, but they are also there to prepare us, to fortify us. And He's the one who is able to turn things around for our good. And so, yes, He wants good things for us, but at the same time, He's going to allow certain tests. He's going to allow certain challenges to come so that He can use that for something bigger ahead of us. He can use that to build us up so that when you go through that thing and you meet someone else going through it, you have something in you that you can use to encourage the person.
Right.
Someone cannot just get up and give you advice about the situation if they've not gone through that situation.
Exactly.
But when you faced it and you tell someone about it, you'd be surprised about the amount of lives that you'll be able to bless simply of what you're able to overcome. So embrace the challenge, embrace the test, and you will see greater things later on.
So at the end of the day, we wouldn't understand what you're going through until God takes you from point A to point B.
That's right.
And then you look back at point A and then you understand. Because sometimes you get to understand why you went through a certain challenge only when you have crossed it or you've moved past it.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a relationship that didn't work out. You bet your whole life on that relationship. And God says, no, this is not it for you. Now you move past it maybe a year or 2 or 3 after that, and then you look back and then maybe now things start getting better for you.
That's right.
And now you look back and you realize that probably that is why I didn't move on with this person or this contract or this project or whatever it is. So I think I resonate with what you're saying, and it's really true. Because if we should take account of things that have happened in our lives and everything, I think I can even come up with a few of them. But I'm not going to bother.
You're not going to go there.
I'm not going to go there too. Right? I would like you to give me your best life quote. A life quote that changed how you think or changed your life.
When it comes to my best life quote, I would always go to this one: give time some time. I just love that quote so much. Give time some time.
Wow, that is good.
It's a quote that I think it came up during Ghana's recent election period last year. And people are using it for propaganda that, you're complaining about the government in power, but the new one that is coming, just give them some time. Things will make sense. You see that, the old government did well and the new government is not what you thought, all of that propaganda. But I looked beyond the propaganda and I tried to pick some knowledge from what the quote says.
Right.
And what the quote was basically talking about was that time has a way of revealing things. Allow time to play its full course and things will make sense in the end. And I relate heavily to it even coming here. People don't know that you're a fitness trainer extraordinaire, a master physical therapist.
No. Okay, let me hear what you have to say.
Yes, please, let me land. I have the floor now. But when I first came, Solomon was the one training me and a friend. And he was helping us with our exercise and everything, building muscle and losing fat and all of that. And unfortunately, you had to move away for a little bit of time.
Right.
And so when you moved, my friend and I were now stuck together in the gym. So I was continuing because the energy was there. And I remember my friend looked at me, I was like, what do you know about gym? That's for you, own his book and Bible, so I'll leave that for you. But fast forward about 3 months later, he began to see the changes in my physique that, it's like the gym is working for this guy. Let me join him. And now let us go to the gym together. And he has also started seeing changes in his physique. And so I use that as an example because in the initial stages, it looked like I didn't have anything to offer him in the gym. But when I allowed myself to go through that process, to be consistent, and I allowed time to play its role in my life, eventually he saw the results. And he now became aligned to whatever I was doing there. And so I take that heavily for anything that I do, that just give time some time. If you are learning something, don't think that it's too late for me to do this. Do it, invest into it, allow time to play its full course, and eventually people will see the results and they'll look back and they'll say that, this guy really invested into whatever he has done.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that is a very good one. It sounds simple, but then it's very deep. If you look at it, you can relate to it in a lot of aspects in our lives. By giving time some time, it's like you allowing yourself to go through a process, right? Because think about it this way: you want to have money in your account, so it's like every day you go to the piggy bank and you drop a penny, drop $1.
That's right.
Right? For you to be able to have $1 million, for you to be able to have 1,000, you would have to be dropping it every day.
That's right.
Every day.
That's right.
Like they say, a little drops of water
makes a mighty ocean.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So at the end of the day, it is time that tells, or it is time that would show the effort you've put in.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of mine who wanted to start creating content. He was like, I love how you're able to speak to the camera. I love how you're able to do all these content and stay consistent.
That's right.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, thank you for complimenting me. But honestly, if I had it my own way, or if I were to choose, I would just sit back and not do anything at all, right? But then again, too, let's not forget about the fact that, or let's not say or jump into conclusion that I'm good at this. No, I'm not. These are my trying and error stages, right? Because I'm looking at getting better and better every day.
Yeah.
So if I don't show up every day, make the mistakes, let people see the mistakes, correct the mistakes, and get better at it, how do I, progress from where I am now?
That's it.
So it's a matter of allowing yourself to go through the process. And I'm happy you brought this whole gym thing in, because I remember we used to work out together.
Yeah.
Right, all the three of us. I was more like the trainer.
That's right.
And then you were
extraordinary.
Just a regular trainer. Right? And I had to leave. Right? So me leaving now was like, now the two of you are like, you have
figure yourself out.
Figure it out on your own. Right? And I'm happy because at the end of the day, you didn't look at the fact that the trainer is not around, so let me also sit back.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, your life depends on it more than
Yeah,
life depends
it's
on
my
it.
body.
So if you look at it this way, that, I mean, whether I sit idle or whether I take action, time is still going to elapse.
That's
so
right.
how am I going to use the time?
Yeah.
And today I'm happy. Look at you. You're even bigger than me.
I beg you, hey, don't take me there. I beg you.
Yeah, you are bigger than me.
I
now.
beg you.
So at the end of the day, give time some time.
That's
It's
right.
a very, very powerful quote. And I think, and I really hope people would pay attention to this and use it wisely.
Yeah.
Right. Now I want to ask you this question. This is quite a little deep, right? But I know you can answer. Now, if you could go back in time, right? Let's say 10 years, right? 10 years back. What is that one decision you would make that you can confidently say, this decision would make my life better today?
That's a good question. I'll buy Bitcoin. Like right now, I'll be a millionaire.
Well, 10 years ago, Bitcoin was like hot cake.
I tell you. But I think if I could go back 10 years, I think my priority would be on my faith, right? Because of course God is merciful. If you start at any point in time, He's able to have a wonderful spiritual relationship with you.
Right.
But I think when you're able to start it early, with that full awareness, it changes everything about you. There are some mistakes that you are going to avoid. There are some things that you are going to find yourself doing because you know what the eternal consequences are going to be. You know, many times we think back to the sort of advice our parents were giving us, don't do this, don't do that. We felt like they were being long or they were just stressing us.
Right.
But when we grew up and we got to such, they were like, oh, they were right. You know, and so if I could go back 10 years, I think I would have taken my faith much more seriously and allowed myself to actually enjoy that faith journey from that period in time. Because by doing that, it would have made certain answers come quicker to me. It would have made certain decisions much easier for me. It would have made me maneuver certain things and avoid many, many mistakes that I look back and I regret a little bit now. So that's one thing that I think I would change. The other thing is probably investing more in relationships in terms of friends.
Right.
For me, I've been quite of an independent person a large part of my life. I like to figure things out on my own and just focus on like tunnel vision. It's just me and it's me against the world.
Exactly.
But you grow up and you realize the power of relationships. You realize the power of men. You realize the power of having people you can connect with and call when you need something. I look back and I realize I didn't do too well with investing in those relationships that I could have.
Right.
Because later on, these are people that grow up to become great and powerful men in the future. And so that's another thing that I'll add to my faith, that I'll be more intentional about connecting with people, listening to people, befriending people, and investing in their lives. Because later on, I think it will reap a lot of results.
Right. You know, I'm smiling, right? Because what you said or what you just said is exactly what I would have done too, right? Because like I said, I was naturally born into a Christian household. We know was going. You don't have an excuse if you don't go. I mean, what would be your excuse not to go to church on a Sunday?
Nothing.
Right? You have to go to church on a Sunday, right? But I feel like I didn't take it so serious. I didn't take my Christian faith so serious until like 10:30 when I was getting baptized. Right, like you said, God is merciful. He can do mighty things. with a little boy, with an older man.
That's right.
But then I feel like if I were more aware of the Christian faith, and maybe I had asked God to come in, like how I did at the age of 30, and I did it maybe at 20, I probably would have been far off than I am today. Not to say I'm not grateful for where I am today, but then I can confidently say that it would have made my life better, right? Secondly, about relationships, it's just like they are just like me. I mean, it took a lot of. I mean, I think I had to tell a friend to come and tell you that, hey man, I need you to help me with economics. Right? Because,
I remember.
Because it was hard for me to ask for help.
Yeah.
And in this life, I mean, you can't do it all by yourself. No matter how strong or powerful or wise, intelligent as you are, you can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
So you need men.
Yeah.
I mean, so you need to be very intentional about connections and relationships. You build relationships, because if you don't invest in relationships, it gets to a point where you feel like I'm alone in this world. And once you start to feel like I'm alone in this world, you know that there is something wrong. Because at least there should be one person who you can pick up a phone at, I mean, no matter the time of day, and tell them that, hey, I need you to be here. I need to talk to you. I need this amount of money. I need to do this. I need to do that. And they always have some, like, they always have an answer.
That's right.
Right? So I think it is very good. I love your answer, because, I mean, Christian faith, being aware of your Christian faith and accepting your faith earlier can make your life better.
That's right.
And if you are intentional about building relationships,
that's right.
I'm telling you that I don't know how to even stress more this. Now that I'm older, I know the relevance or the importance of having good relationships with people.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very important.
That's right.
Now I want to ask you this question, right? I mean, I'm enjoying the conversation so far. I love it. And we are getting to the end of it. But I want to ask you, right, when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, what do you want to be remembered for as Ebenezer Kwapong? Right? I personally, I know you as a selfless, a selfless, intelligent, purpose-driven footballer, whatever. I know you as that, right? But then what do you want to be known for?
There's something that has been inspiring me for the past couple of years, and it's the whole idea of building men.
Right.
But what I mean by that is making duplicates of yourself, investing in people, so that when you are not there, they're able to do whatever you're doing, but even bigger than that and greater than that. I think it was last week, I was on social media and I saw a post. Apparently there was a man that used to be a protocol member for Apostle Joshua Selman.
Right.
And so the protocol men are those who stand beside him on the altar, make sure that there's no interference, no one runs and rushes the altar and all of that. Right. And in the post, he said that 5 years or so ago, he was a protocol guy for Apostle Selman. Today, he was hosting a crusade and come and see large crowds within the crusade. And so you look at that and you can see that this is someone who was very intentional about investing in the people around him, so that even when he's not there, they're able to replicate his impact and do even greater things than he is doing. And that's something that I personally want to be remembered by, that I was able to raise many other people, both around me and not around me, who are able to make impacts on their own without my influence whatsoever. I think mentorship and discipleship are two key tools that every man should be able to prioritize. Being a mentor and mentoring others, being a disciple and discipling others. Excellent. Once you are able to raise other people to also make impacts wherever they find themselves, I think there's a large part of life that you can say you've achieved. So that's what I want to be remembered by, as someone who was able to invest in many other people, to also grow up and be change makers wherever they find themselves.
That is really good, because that also goes back to purpose. Your purpose being bigger than you. Yeah. For the sake of humanity, because you are not thinking about just being you, Ebenezer, but you want to see a lot of Ebenezers around.
That's right.
So
that's it.
If Ebenezer is not here, you can still rely on Solomon. You can still rely on Herbert. You can still rely on someone else to do exactly what Ebenezer would do.
That's right.
And that is really, and like I said, I know you as a selfless person. And exactly, it goes back to you didn't prove me wrong. You know. Thank you so much. I mean, this part of the conversation is where I call flip the mic.
Okay.
Right. So flip the mic is I have been the host. I've been asking all the questions, and you have been the guest, or giving me beautiful answers.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to give you the chance to be a host for just one question. I mean, just one, and then I become the guest, and then I answer you.
Yeah.
So now you have the opportunity to ask me a question.
I can ask anything at all.
I mean, anything. It can be related to what we are having now, the conversation we are having now, or it can be outside the conversation.
Okay. I guess the question that comes to mind is that I think if you're someone who has been through many different things, people will see you and be like, oh, solo dear DP, like you look good, you look like everything is figured out.
Amen.
But he said amen. But I think that there are many things that you've experienced throughout life, and so I'm wondering, what is that phrase, that word, that quote that has carried you through all of those moments to this point?
You know, this is a very deep and big question, right? But immediately, this is what comes in mind. It is well, right? It is well. Now, it is well is something that I always say. I usually say it like this, and I tap my hand on my chest. It is well, about 3 times. And this is what I do every time I find myself in any challenges, setbacks, disappointments, anything. Because, like I said, and I thank God that I just don't look like what I've been through. I don't look like my current circumstances. People might think, hey, this guy. I mean, I always have that. People coming in. I think I always thank God for that.
Yeah.
Because if I should look like how or what I've been through, I probably wouldn't be here, right? And so anytime I go through challenges, I mean, especially now that I am more aware about, more aware of my Christian faith, I just tell myself it is well. And in a way, it encourages me to take the next step, because sometimes, I'm not going to lie, taking the next step is really hard. I mean, even coming up with this whole podcast and everything, I was thinking about a lot of things, logistics, who is coming to help, who is doing this, who is coming, all of that. There are a lot of questions. If you should give yourself the chance, you're going to ask yourself a lot of questions. But at the end of the day, right, when we start doing that, we lose sight of the fact that there is someone or there is a friend who is closer. Is it a friend who's closer than a brother? Or a brother who's closer than a friend? Who is willing to help you all the time, or who has already engineered that help and is just waiting on you to call, right? And so anytime I'm faced with any sort of challenge, I just tell myself it is well. Continue taking the step. Continue doing what you are doing. One day you actually see how many steps you've taken. It's like walking taking a mile, walking a mile. When they tell you to jog a whole mile, like, no man, that is too long. That's too far. I can't do that. But when you decide to take a step, after that you take a step. When you get tired, you tell yourself it is well.
That's right.
Take another step.
That's right.
At the end of the mile, when we tell you to look back, you realize how far you have come, right? And so, one word or one phrase or sentence that I will always keep reminding myself, it is well. Wow. In good times, it is well. In bad times, it is well. When I'm happy, it is well. When I'm sad,
it is well. I like that.
Exactly. Eben, thank you. So now I'm back. I'm back again.
You've taken your host back.
Yes, it was good. It felt good to be the host, and now I gave it to you for 1 second, and now I'm back. The king is back on the throne.
That's right.
But I want to really thank you. Like, in all seriousness, I want to thank you for being a part of this podcast. It's been really amazing to have this conversation with you. Like I said, I couldn't think of anyone better to have this conversation with.
Yeah.
And before you go, there is this game that I play.
Okay.
I used to play this game on my Instagram called This or That,
okay.
right? Where I ask my followers to choose between 2 items, 2 objects, 2 sentences, whatever. No in between. So you either choose, let's say an example is you choose maybe oranges or mangoes.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And the reception was good. People really loved it.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, when I was planning this whole podcast, I was like, why not bring this in into just loosen things up a little, right? So we are going to play this game.
Okay.
I mean, I'll try and make it as easy as possible. Right? So when you're ready, just let me know.
I'm ready.
Right. All right. So the first one is be invisible or have the ability to read minds.
Have the ability to read minds.
Right.
I want to see what people are thinking about me.
Right. Okay, the second one is lose your wallet or lose your phone.
Lose my wallet.
Why? Don't you keep money in your wallet?
Nowadays, if you take my wallet right now, you don't get focus.
There's nothing.
You don't get anything.
Right. Every valuable is on the phone.
Everything is on the phone now.
Right. I see. All right. So next one is read a book or watch a podcast.
Read a book. I've always been a reader, and I miss reading. I need to get back into it properly, but I'd always choose a book.
I can't lie. Reading is actually, I don't know how to even say it, but then, I would also go for reading a book over watching a podcast. But guys,
watch this podcast.
I need you to watch this podcast. I need you to subscribe and watch the Brotherly Advice podcast.
That's right.
Exactly. Now the next one is save money or invest your money.
Invest.
Yeah. Would you want to tell me a little bit why?
Yeah, I think because saving, you're just putting the money aside. There's nothing that's coming on top of it. But when you invest it, then it's now you get both your principal and you get extra money from whatever you've invested into. So double money essentially.
Right. Well, that is when you make good investments.
That's true.
Right. Okay. So the next one is phone calls or text messages.
Text messages. Phone calls just stress me out. I don't know. They always stress me out.
I mean, even I would have answered this for you, guys. It takes 5 business days to get to this guy.
Oh my goodness! Forgive me.
When you want to call him, but when you send him a text message, well, when you pray to God, you are lucky to get a response. Right. We have just 2 more.
Okay.
Right? Mercedes-Benz or BMWs?
Ooh, I think I would go with Benz. Benz just has that reputation of being so reliable. I would go with that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've always been a Benz person, but lately the new designs BMWs are coming up with. I'm like, I might as well have 2.
Why settle for one?
Exactly. Why have one where you can have 2? Exactly.
I like that.
Now the last one, right? Talent or discipline?
Discipline. I think discipline. I think it's a quote by someone: hard work beats talent every single day. Right. Once you're able to put in the work. In fact, even goes to the Cristiano Ronaldo Messi debate. We believe that they are both. We even believe Messi is more talented than Cristiano Ronaldo.
Right.
But just the sheer discipline that Ronaldo has put into his craft, it has put him on the same level like Messi all over these years. So I'd go for discipline any day.
That is very true, because talent. I mean, you can sleep on your talent and it will yield nothing. But then someone may not be talented, but will be disciplined on one thing.
That's right.
Focused on one thing.
That's right.
And they might be way better than you, who naturally has the talent.
That's right.
It's a good one.
100%.
I would also go for discipline over talent.
That's right.
Right. Well, Eben, thank you so much. Like I said, I'm beyond excited.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for being on this podcast. I wish you all the best in your endeavors. Right. I know you do so well. Like I said, I'm happy to have you here because soon you'll be in the limelight, and I can just proudly brag about the fact that you're on the Brotherly Advice podcast, right? Now, before you go, I mean, I have a gift for you. I have books here for you.
I see.
I have on the lineup, I mean, quite a number of them. I would like you to look through and then pick one of them that you would want to have.
These are really, really good books.
Yes.
I think straight off the bat, I've read Becoming, I've read Obama's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Atomic Habits, very, very good books.
I love that book.
But I think the one that's standing out to me is The Alchemist.
Yeah. Oh my God, The Alchemist. You are going to love this.
Are you
I
sure?
read it twice, right?
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, if someone reads a book twice,
then you have to know that it's good.
Exactly. I read look, let me get The Alchemist for you. Now, this book is actually a really good book, and I'm happy you've picked this book. I believe you really enjoy it, and it has a little message in here. I'd like to read it to you.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So it says, "From Kwabna Efriye Akotobanfo and Tishana Thomas Akotobanfo."
Aww.
Come on, man. All right. With appreciation for your time, truth, and trust, the Brotherly Advice family is better because of you. May this book remind you of the lives you've touched today. Thank you.
That's so precious.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the Brotherly Advice
this
podcast.
Is a blessing.
Before we go, I mean, do you have any last words to share or anything? I mean, other than that, I think we can call this. But I'd love you to give us your last or final words.
My last or final words. I'd go with.
And I'd like you to speak to them directly.
I should speak to them directly.
Yes.
I'd go. I hope I don't talk plenty. But I'd go with another quote that I've loved so much,
Right.
and it's "The journey is a destination."
Right.
A couple of years ago, a group of Ghanaian guys got up that they want to travel from Accra to London, and they coined that term, "The journey is a destination."
They decided to drive.
They drove.
Yes.
They drove
Exactly.
all the way from Accra to London.
Right.
And the reason why they came up with that phrase was because it wasn't about getting to London. They've been to London before, but it was about the memories they'll make on that trip, the
Right.
challenges they'll face, how they'll overcome it, the immigration officials, the people they'll meet on the way. They realized that the true destination they were going to arrive at was a journey they were actually going on.
Right.
And so that's what I'll share with you. Don't focus too much on where you want to get to. Allow yourself to enjoy the moment. Allow yourself to enjoy the process. That is where your lessons are. That is where your blessing is. That is where your fulfillment is going to be. In the lessons you find along the way, the people you meet, the friends you make, and the memories that you'd also have put together throughout the way. So don't focus on whatever you are looking at getting to. Enjoy the process, enjoy the destination, and you would see that everything is working together for your good.
I mean, like I said, who else was better to be here?
I beg you.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I really love that. I love what you just said, because at the end of the day, like we said before, you get to acknowledge and learn whilst you're on the journey. It's not about the destination you want to go to. At the end of the day, the destination of life is what? It's death. So whilst you are still alive, that's your journey, and you have to enjoy that journey.
That's right.
It's a really beautiful one.
That's right.
And mind you, the people actually drove from Accra to London.
They made it.
They really made it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they have a lot of experiences to share.
That's right.
You know, so man, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you
so
for
much
having
once
me.
again.
I enjoyed myself too
And
much.
I'm sure anyone who is listening or watching has also enjoyed it twice as much. Thank you so much, and hopefully this is not the first time.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is not the last time.
That's right.
You're gonna come in again.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Ebenezer.
My pleasure.
Hopefully we meet again very soon.
That's right.
Family, I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. We have another impactful conversation coming your way same time next week. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming interviews. And I'd love to hear from you. What is your biggest takeaway in today's conversation? Comment down below, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your continued support for the Brotherly Advice podcast. And always remember that this is just a brotherly advice, and I'm only looking out for you.